In this video, you will see how I set my cue points when I beatgrid. It works for me, it works for my way of thinking, and perhaps it could work for you as well. So, let's do this. Tjena and welcome to another episode of LoopsFX. My name is BERGWALL, or BERGWALL as it's pronounced in Sweden, and today I want to talk to you about beatgridding, the basic of beatgridding in both Rekordbox DJ and Traktor Pro. What kind of beatgrid do I use, what kind of markers, cue points and everything do I use when I beatgrid? The standard version is 4 cue points, A, B, D and H in Rekordbox DJ, and 1, 2, 4 and 8 in Traktor Pro. I start with these 4 cue points on every track I prepare, and after that I add more cue points depending on the track and what I want to do with the track, what's ins and outs and everything. I hope this video will give you some valuable points, because the way I beatgrid might differ from the way you beatgrid, and if you are a beginner DJ, then you might not have a system yet. So, let's get down and dirty with some cue points on the beatgrid. Yeah!
We start with Traktor Pro and let's search for a track we want to prep. We take You and I with BERGWALL and Okulund, a track not yet released, so the YouTube's license officer won't go bananas. Right click on the track and choose Analyze Async. In this dialog box you can choose to only analyze the BPM, for example, but since this is a new track we select all. Parallel processing is good for when you have a lot of tracks that you want to be analyzed at the same time. It works harder and faster, but you can't use the computer at the same time. And here you see the progress of the analyze. Done. Now let's drag the track into one of the decks and zoom in on the grid marker. We can see that it's quite not on the beat, but we'll listen. Put on the metronome tick for accuracy. Don't trust your eyes, trust only your ears. We can hear that the tick is really not on the beat, even at the end. Switch over to grid and move the grid marker a little to the left, just so it's close enough to where the waveform of the kick starts. Always choose the kick. If we listen now, the tick is not that off anymore, but it's still not right on the beat. Traktor Pro has a little problem with moving the grid marker in smaller increments, so we'll have to do it for it. Since we have to move the grid a tad to the left, balance right on the marker but lean on to the left side. You can see it on the white triangle, that it's a little to the right, not in the middle. Now press the trash can to delete the grid, and directly after that on the button to the left of the trash can to make a new grid marker. But first check so both snap and quantize is off, so you can set the new grid marker wherever you want. Press play and listen. Yes, now it's right on the beat. Jump to the end. The same good thing there. Now lock the grid so you can't make any changes to it. Now let's go back to the beginning and look at the grid marker. Here in this area you can see that it's actually a grid marker, if you haven't memorized all the markers and the cue points yet. Let's find a place in the track where we can set the marker for where we want to begin mixing the track. We gotta zoom out. It's almost always in the intro of the track, but it could be anywhere. Here comes the bass. And there's a break. Now put marker 4 there and roll back to set the marker 2 at the beginning of the bass. Let's change the cue point to a load marker. What it does is that it says to Traktor that every time you load that track, it's going to jump to that load marker and start there. If we switch it back to a cue point and load another track and load in You and I again, you see that the track is now queued at the grid marker. But if we set it to a load marker and load another track and back on UNI, you see that the track now queues up at the load marker instead. And that's good because there is where we want to start mixing the track. And 4 is where we want to get out of the old track in the transition while mixing. Let's find a place where we want the new track to come. There's a good place as any. And I switched the cue point to a fade out marker. We have a fade in marker as well, facing left, but this one is facing right and out of the track, so to speak. This is only a visual aid. I have switched off the auto mix function in Traktor. Now we're done. On the 1, we have a grid marker on the 1 representing the beat grid. We have a load marker on the 2 where we want Traktor to cue the track, and a cue point on the 4 and a mix out on the 8. Easy peasy. Remember to always use the same standard on all tracks. You don't have to use my system, you can invent your own, but you have to be consistent. Otherwise, eventually you won't remember what cue point or marker representing what function. Chaos, in other words. Now let's Rekordbox. In Rekordbox, the method is almost the same as in Traktor, but if you have Rekordbox DJ, not only Rekordbox, I advise you to stay on in export mode, not performance mode. And that's only because you can't zoom in as much in performance mode as you can in export mode, and that's a very important thing while prepping, I would think. And if you are a USB DJ, all this applies to you as well. So let's find that track again. There it is. Right click on it and choose Analyze Track. Rekordbox doesn't give you more to choose from, but I only want BPM grid. I use mixed in key to analyze the key of the tracks, and I don't want to use Rekordbox system, whatever they are using, to analyze the key of the tracks. Press OK and the track gets analyzed. When it's done, drag it up on the deck and find the first beat. Zoom in. Rekordbox didn't either do such a good job detecting the beat, but the change is minor here. The first red line indicates the beat grid start. It's this red line, and Rekordbox gets a golden star for its undo function. Click on the Shift the whole beat grid right button until it fits the beat. Listen to the track with the metronome tick on. And again, trust your ears, not your eyes. The beat is there. And even at the end of the track. Turn off the metronome and lock the grid. Switch to the list of hotkeys. The difference between memory and hotkeys will be explained in a later video. Mark the first beat. Then press on the letter A on the hotkeys palette. I changed the color to red, and that's the same color that shows up on the CDJ's player. And since we already listened through this track, we know the track already, so all we got to do is set out the cue points. Next up is QB, and I changed this color to yellow. After that is the letter D, and it gets the color light blue. Last up is QH, and I switched that to yellow as well. So now we got all the markers and cue points on exactly the same spot in both Traktor and Rekordbox. And keep in mind to be consistent with it.
Never be you and I, never be, never be. You know the one down by Camarilla?
Have a fun time beat gridding and cue pointing. And until next time, diddle kiss.
Thank you for watching this episode. If you have any product, hardware, software that you want me to test and review, or have a request for a tutorial, tips or tricks, please send an email to hello@loopsfx.com. See you next time.
Hello. Tjena and welcome. Tjena. Magnus. And 1, 2. And 1. Why do I use this? I hope this video will show you some. Perhaps this video. I hope this video will show you something. Vad ska jag säga efter det? And or your next door DJ neighbor, and perhaps this might change your life, or not, whatever.